Welcome, guys. We are in the last week of the NFL season. Yes, folks, I can't believe it. It is the last week of the regular season, week 18, and let's make our picks for week 18. We got two Saturday games. The first Saturday game is the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. In this one, I'm taking the Ravens. The Ravens are rolling at 11-5. The Cleveland Browns, they're not going to get nothing. They're 13 and no, they're 3-13, and their quarterback is not playing that well. So that means it's gonna be the Baltimore Ravens beating the Cleveland Browns. And the night game on Saturday is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, Cincinnati Bengals got a big win last week in overtime. And if they want to make the playoffs, they have to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they need a little help from the Denver Broncos by losing again. But I really don't believe the Bengals are going to make the playoffs, so I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now on Sunday, we got we got a lot of games on Sunday. The first game is the Panthers and the Falcons. Oh man, the Falcons got a big loss last week against the Washington Commanders. It was a close game, but in overtime, they lost. But I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons over the Carolina Panthers. Now, the next game is the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. For me, I need the Washington Commanders to lose to the Cowboys. Why, you might say that? I'll tell you why. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. We have the same record as the Washington Commanders, but the Washington Commanders have a lead in the schedule. So the Packers got bumped down to the 7th seed, and I do not want to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round. So that's why I need the Cowboys to beat the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders go back to 7th seed, and the Green Bay Packers move up to the 6th seed. And I think the 6th seed is a better seed to go get to the Super Bowl. On that note, I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys over the Washington Commanders. And the next game is the Chicago Bears versus the Packers. The Packers had a heartbreaking loss last week to the Minnesota Vikings. The Packers did not play that well in the first half. We had fumbles, we had penalties, we couldn't get nothing going on offense. The defense was not that great either, but we can say the same thing about the Bears. They could only score about 3 points against the Seattle Seahawks, and they're not a good team. So I'm going with the Packers to win this one. Next one is the Jaguars and the Colts. And the Colts, they got embarrassed last week embarrassed by the New York Giants. That was harsh. Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not playing that well. I believe the Indianapolis Colts are gonna bounce that and get a win. So I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. Next game is the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. Like I said all season long, Patriots are not a good team. They did get a good QB in the draft. I love Drake May, but I like Josh Allen better, and he's playing pretty well. And now he has chemistry with Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper is killing it. So I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. Next up, it is the Philadelphia Eagles against the New York Giants. New York Giants got a big win last week over the Indianapolis Colts. But I still say they're not a good team. And the Eagles, we don't know about Jalen Hurts. He's injured right now. I'm hoping that he's really injured. But they did sign a new quarterback this week, so we don't know what's going on. But they do still have Saquon Barkley. So I'm picking the Eagles to beat the New York Giants. Next, it is the 9-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the 5-11 New Orleans Saints. It looks like the Buccaneers are going to win that division by default because the Atlanta Falcons lost to the Washington Commanders last week. So, and the Saints are not a good team. They're starting their backup quarterback in Spencer Rattler. And Spencer Rattler did nothing last Monday against the Packers, and they lost. So I'm picking the Tampa Bay over New Orleans Saints. Next, it is the division-leading Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, like this is a hard game because the Titans are a bad team, but the Texans have not been playing that well lately. But I still believe Stroud is better than Levis. So on that, I'm taking the Texans over the Titans. Now we are getting into the afternoon games. The afternoon game, the first afternoon game on Fox is the Niners versus the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals had a tough loss last week against the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know about this one. I gotta go with Arizona. There's so many injuries on the Niners that I don't think they can keep up with Kyler Murray. So I'm picking Arizona in this one. The next game is the 15-1 Chiefs and the 9-7 Broncos. Oh man, the Chiefs already wrapped up the number one seed in the AFC. So they are going to rest some of their starting players. Especially they're going to sit Patrick Mahomes. And on the other side, the Denver Broncos, they missed a great opportunity last week to win the division and make it to win the wild card and get into the playoff with a 7th seed, but they lost to Cincinnati. So they need to win this game to make it into the playoff. And you know how big of a Bo Nix fan I am. So I believe in Bo Nix. So I'm taking the Denver Broncos over the Kansas City Chiefs. Next game is it's another divisional game, and it is the Los Angeles Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know if the Seahawks can still make the playoffs if they win, but it's a big game for the Seahawks. They're 9-7, and the Rams are 10-6. So if Seattle beats the Rams and gets a little help, I think the Seahawks might win that division, but I'm not holding my breath, so I'm taking the Rams to beat the Seahawks. Next game is the 10-6 Chargers and the 4-12 Raiders. In this one, I'm taking the Chargers because they're already in the playoffs. So, yeah, the Chargers are going to win this game. Raiders are just a bad team. Then that leaves the 8-8 Dolphins and the 4-12 New York Jets. Dolphins are still alive for the playoffs, but they need a little help. And the Jets, they're a horrible team, and they're not going to do anything. I'm taking the Dolphins over the Jets. And then the biggest game of all for Sunday Night Football, the last Sunday Night Football, it is for the division and it is for the number 1 seed in the NFC. That is your 14-2 Minnesota Vikings and your 13-2 Detroit Lions. This is a big game. If the Vikings win, they get the first bye. They get the division, and they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. But if the Lions beat the Vikings, the Lions take the division, and they take the NFC, and they get the first round bye. It's a hard game to pick. The Lions have so much injuries on their team. I hate the Vikings with a passion. It looks like I am going to be a big Lions fan this Sunday, and I am picking the Detroit Lions over the Minnesota Vikings. And that is the last prediction of the year. I'll be making my playoff predictions next week, and I will be putting out a power ranking video next week also. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I always say, stay safe, stay positive, and always go Pack Go. And I'll see you next time. Later, guys.